A few months ago, I agreed to watch my friend's 10 and 14-year-old children. As I sat there in my chair that day watching my 4-year-old girls play, I look over on the couch and I see the 10 and 14-year-old playing on their iPads, gaming, talking on Facebook, whatever it is that kids do these days. I've always kind of wondered, what is the appropriate amount of time to let our children use electronic media? As our 4-year-olds are approaching the time when they're more interested in that sort of thing, this is something I felt I needed to research. I wanted to know how others felt about the use of electronic media with their children. So I asked the audience, at what age is it appropriate to buy a child a cell phone, iPad, etc.? The first person responded and said that they felt that as long as the child was responsible enough to take care of the item, that it was okay for them to have one and use it. The second person said that they would purchase a cell phone for their child for after-school activities, going over to their friend's house, that sort of thing, so they could keep in contact with them, and an iPad or something of that sort when they're more responsible. The third person said it's a matter of responsibility. If you feel your child's responsible enough to care for the items, then it's perfectly okay. Her 7-year-old has a Kindle that she uses for games, but she doesn't feel that she needs a cell phone until she gets older, when she goes places alone, like to the mall with her friends and out to dances and that sort of thing. Doing some research, I found that children's excessive use of electronic media has a profound negative effect on their mind and body. Today, I would like to explore the negative impact electronic media has had on our children, how much media use is healthy, and what we can do about the overuse and how to make our children's lives better. It's not the technology that's dangerous, but how it's used that can be harmful. Constant access to information is a double-edged sword, and parents need to be mindful when examining their children's online activities. For every website offering homework help, there is a site that helps kids cheat on their tests. The same phone that lets you text when they're running late from soccer practice can easily be used to send wildly inappropriate pictures to her crush in biology class. Let's look at some of the current statistics on electronic media use. To find out if my audience was aware of the amount of time that children spend using electronic media, I asked them, how many hours a day on average does a teen spend using some form of electronic media? The first person responded they felt it was roughly 5 to 6 hours. The second person responded saying that it was about 5 to 8 hours, and some of that time was spent in school on the computer doing projects. The third person said that it was definitely at least 8 to 10 hours between school. They're always on their phones, on Facebook, Twitter, etc. According to cybersafefamily.com, my audience was fairly accurate. Recent studies have discovered that teens spend at least 53 hours a week, which is 7.5 hours a day or more, on some form of electronic media. Under 6 years spends a little over 2 hours. But statistics show that 1 in 5 teens logs onto a social media site more than 10 times daily. 3 of 4 teens own a cell phone. 1 of 3 owns a smartphone. 1 in 5 teens have texted or posted nude or semi-nude photos or videos of themselves on the internet. Overuse of technology contributes to obesity, bulimia, anorexia, delayed social and psychological development, decreased academic performance, and sleep deprivation. PsychologyToday.com says 95% of teens play video games, and 93% of teens have a Facebook page. According to Larry D. Rosen, PhD professor of psychology at California State University, young adults with strong Facebook presence are more prone to anxiety, depression, or other psychological disorders. Children who are on social media sites are exposed to things like bullying, infidelity, pedophiles, peer pressure, and sexual experimentation. Here is another eye-opener for you. A recent survey done by AVG Internet Security found that 58% of young children know how to play a computer game, but that only 20% know how to swim. 28% of young children know how to make a mobile cell phone call, but only 20% know that they should dial 911 in the case of emergency. 69% of children operate a computer mouse, but only 11% of those know how to tie their shoelaces. Electronic media addiction has become a fast-growing epidemic among our children. So what is considered to be a healthy amount of time for our kids to be spending using electronic media anyway? The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that parents discourage media for any of their children under 2 years of age. They should limit media use to about 2 hours a day for children 2 to 10 years old. And teens' media should be monitored, and parents should watch for signs of risky behavior to determine how much their teens should be using the electronic media. There are many things we can do to keep our children safe. Open communication, showing interest in what our children are doing, finding out what it is that they're looking at on the internet, find out what it is that they're watching on TV, what their likes, what their dislikes are, what they're interested in. These are important things that build a children's future. Parental controls. You can use parental controls on internet and TV to regulate what sites your children are looking at, what movies your children are watching. Time limits for TV. Making sure that they're not spending too much time on the TV, or make sure they're not spending too much time on the internet. Set a time limit for them. Encourage them to play games, read books, do other things that educate them. Establish a bedtime routine. Turn off the TV, turn off the internet and those sorts of things. Take away the iPads an hour before bedtime. Give them some time to wind down and get away from the blue screens. Schedule family time. Make rules. Don't let them use their cell phones at the dinner table. Promote them to talk to each other at the dinner table and interact. Talk about your day instead of texting your friend or waiting for a phone call. Turn your cell phone off during family game time so it's not a distraction. Have screen-free rooms in your house. Have certain rooms where you choose not to have a TV or any other electronic device where kids can play and have their free time without being distracted or wanting that electronic media around. So let's review. Electronic media is not bad, but overuse can have many negative effects on our children, ranging from something as simple as sleep deprivation all the way to exposure to pedophiles that rape and murder our children. If we keep open communication, limit and monitor our children's use of electronic media, and teach them how to use it responsibly, we can prevent many of the negative effects of electronic media and help protect our children from predators. As a fellow parent, I ask you, help me in the fight of the overuse of electronic media and commit to help teaching our children how to use electronic media in a healthy way.